Today is a good day, albeit somewhat bittersweet, because finally the surviving hostages have been returned to Israel and reunited with their families. I wanted to acknowledge that before commencing with my usual mockery, which will now begin, because several world leaders have gone to Egypt to draw up peace plans between Israel and Gaza. And one of those world leaders is British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. That should terrify the international community. Keith Stalin with his reverse Midas touch. Honestly, you could give that man a bar of pure gold and within seconds he'd have turned it into dog shit. And I have no idea what he thinks he's doing there. Nor does the leader of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. She says he has no right to be there. He did nothing to bring about a ceasefire. It was the governments of the UK, France and Canada who, by saying they would acknowledge a Palestinian state, actively prolonged the conflict. Now the cynic in me, and I am a cynical bastard, thinks that actually had nothing to do with the Middle East. It's two-tier Keir desperately trying to hold on to the Muslim vote here in Britain, because if he loses that, come next May's local elections, we'll have a Labour government with virtually no Labour councillors. Starmer does spend an extraordinary amount of time abroad, and as a Brit, in a way that's a good thing. Because the more time he's abroad, the less time he's got to fuck things up here. But the Labour government are already trying to claim credit for bringing about the ceasefire. Yesterday, Bridget Phillipson went on Sky News and said that Britain were doing things behind the scenes. That's very non-committal and non-specific. And my fellow Brits, prepare yourselves for a shock. Allegedly, that was a fucking lie. Because the American ambassador took to X to call her, and I quote, delusional. Also, I suspect another reason that No Idea Keir doesn't want to be in the UK at the moment is that there are allegations that the Labour government deliberately collapsed a case against two British men accused of spying for China. Because this government has borrowed so much money from the Chinese, if China calls that debt in, this country will go bankrupt overnight. What the fuck is going on? And does anyone else recall that before the US elections, Keir Starmer said that he wouldn't have dinner with Donald Trump, and if Trump was re-elected, the world would be a more dangerous place. To the point that the Labour Party sent advisors to the US in the run-up to the US election, effectively the Labour Party trying to interfere with a foreign election, allegedly. And as I've said many times, I'm no huge fan of Donald Trump, but the man is stopping wars. Basically, whatever Starmer does, do the opposite. Whatever his opinion is, have the opposite opinion. It's safer that way. And at the weekend, I posted a video asking what now for the far left. Because to me, the pro-Palestine mob are similar to the non-binary crowd in as much as it's their entire fucking personality. It's what they've built their lives around. So, for the people screaming, stop the genocide, there's a ceasefire. Also, the genocide never fucking happened. So what next? Do they go back to gluing themselves to roads or defacing paintings? No, they are doubling down. This next clip is shocking. This is London 2025 last weekend.
Upright, a steadfast and a noble resistance in Palestine and in Gaza to look to be inspired by. And I don't want to yap for too long, but a chant that we've been workshopping in Oxford that maybe you guys want to join in. It goes, Gaza, Gaza, make us proud, put the Zios in the ground. Gaza, Gaza, make us proud, put the Zios in the ground. Gaza, Gaza, make us proud, put the Zios in the ground. Gaza, Gaza, make us proud, put the Zios in the ground. Gaza, Gaza, make us proud, put the Zios in the ground. Thank you.
Put the Zios in the ground. What absolute fucking scum. That being said, I can understand his anger because you can see the virginity radiating off him. And he mentioned Oxford. It has been confirmed he's a student at Oxford University. Yes, that man who's never touched a girl, who the last time he touched a woman's breasts would have been his mother's when he was being breastfed, although by the look of him and by the way that the British upper class works could have been last week. He goes to Oxford University, one of the most privileged universities in the world, and that's what he spends his time doing, coming up with shit chants. Now, I'm no legal expert. I'm guessing, and for any lawyers watching, let me know. To me, that sounds like incitement to murder. Let's see if he gets arrested, because if he doesn't, then this two-tier policing, which the government keep fucking denying, it's there for all of us to see. That being said, at the Labour Party conference, when Keir Starmer stood up and said that words weren't enough to deal with reform, since then, Reform's youngest councillor, aged just 19, has been physically assaulted. Anyway, let's look at another couple of protesters being interviewed by Talk TV's Samara Gill.
It's a very interesting flag. What does it mean?
Declaration of faith. Basically, it means there's no God but Allah, and his prophet is Muhammad. That's it.
It looks a lot like the jihad flag to me.
Nah. It's just a declaration of faith. That's it.
It's the Saudi flag, but it's just black.
Why are you here today at the protest?
We're here to show the government they need to cut ties with Israel. And we want no more. We want Palestine to be free.
Free from what?
Free from Israel.
The troops have come out just a couple days ago, so it is effectively free now. Would you?
Yeah, it is, but obviously the original whole land, even where Israel is now, that was all Palestine's land anyways. So we want the land back.
Right. Okay. So where are those Jews going to go?
Where they came from. They went to Palestine. They were somewhere else before. I'm not
where
too
were
educated
they?
on the history. I'm not too educated on the history. I'll be honest, but obviously speak to someone older that knows the history. I'm not too educated on it. But all I know is Palestinians are getting killed right now, and yeah. So we're here to...
So you're happy for the Jews to be removed from Israel?
I'm very happy for that to happen.
Okay. And how would you want that to happen?
God knows, innit? I don't really know.
Interesting flag. That's the jihad flag, and he's just also called for the obliteration of all Jewish people. That's what's going on in the streets of the UK.
A declaration of faith. First of all, sir, you are in a Christian country. If you don't like it, feel free to fuck off. That is the ISIS flag, being flown openly in the English capital in 2025. And for that dickhead to say that Israel is on stolen Palestinian lands. Let's play devil's advocate, because the Islamic faith didn't exist until the 7th century. Ergo, every single Islamic country is on stolen land. I'm not too educated. No, mate, you're just fucking thick. But I guess that's what happens when your parents are first cousins. It must be confusing when both sets of grandparents are only two people. And if he wants people removed from places they aren't welcome, I'm all up for that, because that is a fucking dangerous game. Israel was created in the late 1940s. Sir, when did your family arrive in the United Kingdom? If his argument is that if a country has indigenous people who don't want people of a certain nationality, religion, whatever, in their country, they can be ejected. Mate, I'm with you all day long. Now, I want to stress, I have friends of all different skin colours, different races, nationalities, creeds. I have no problem with most religions. But the followers of his religion, if there was a chance we could kick them out of the UK, and I don't give a fuck if people call me far right, this country would be so much fucking safer. And why is it that the woke far left are so obsessed with that particular conflict, which now has a ceasefire? Why aren't they bothered about the thousands of Nigerian Christians being murdered, or the Uyghur Muslims being used for slave labour in China? Let's be blunt, we all know the reason. The far left and anti-Semitism have gone hand in hand forever. They are vicious, hateful people, and to be blunt, if they got rid of the Jews, next they come for the Christians. Now, the moron with the flag, he doesn't bother me. He's a useless idiot, but his mate next to him with the dead-eyed jihadi stare, that guy frightens me. That being said, was he thinking I need to overthrow the West? Or maybe He's just thinking of a really sexy goat. So here we are in 2025. There's now peace in the Middle East and jihad on the streets of fucking London. And I'll end this video with something truly shocking. There was someone arrested in London at the weekend. A British man carrying a sign that said, "I support British Jews," with an image of a Manchester bee in acknowledgement of the synagogue attack that happened only a few days ago. So wave a fucking ISIS flag and that's absolutely okay, but say you support the Jewish population and the fucking Rozzers turn up. And here's the chilling thing. The police who arrested him said they were, and I quote, "just following orders." So the fog's coming down like I'm in a fucking Hammer horror film. Expecting to see Christopher Lee appear at any moment. I'm not too educated. No, mate, you're just fucking thick. But I guess that's what happened when both bollocks. And for that reason, and about 1 million jackdaws have just turned up. If I'm dead very soon, it's because Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds has finally happened. Israel is on stolen land. Judaism is 3,500 years old. Christianity is over 2,000 years old. Islam rocked up in the 7th century with the teachings of, in my opinion, a paranoid schizophrenic who nicked bits from other religions and then the fucking bollocky wank shit. I've seen a victory for Diane Abbott. She went to the local toy shop and she freed all the plasticine. Oh, hello. Well, fuck off. No, that's not.